So I decided to be nice and actually do one more camera for you to make your life a little bit easier, even though I should just make you do all of them. However, I know how labor intensive this can be and time consuming. It does definitely make it so I can't use my computer for grading or lesson planning, etc. But I decided to try to be nice and help you out a little bit more, as well as apply the basics of what you learned from here to something else. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select all these items right here, and I'm going to cut it and move it further down the timeline because I know that's camera 2, and it's good to actually keep things really organized when you're doing a multicam shoot or edit. So I'm going to move it down the timeline. I'm going to go ahead and paste it here, and then I'm going to go ahead and copy the audio because I know this is camera 2 and I want to keep things in order, and now I'm going to go to camera 1 and actually edit some of the camera 1 footage for you. So I'm going to paste it here. Now when you paste it, it is always going to paste onto this audio 1, so I don't want to mute that track. So if I know I don't want to mute that track, I can hit the M and it will unmute it. And I can always go back and actually delete these clips right here. So now that I have this, I already know I have my markers set. So the nice thing is I'll actually move this down because when I import my next clips, it will go on audio 1 and video 1. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to import cam 1, card 1. So here's camera 1, card 1. So I'm going to go ahead, I can actually import that whole folder since I know I'm going to have to do all of it later if I were you. And then I'm going to go within that folder to the subfolder of card 1, and then I'm going to select these clips and import them to my timeline. You definitely want to make sure that they're in order. So you can zoom in and you can actually see that it is cam 1, card 1, 1, cam 1, card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now all I have to do is select this first clip, and since we know we did the hand clap with him to sync in the beginning, I just have to again use the marker tool to sync it. So that way I can export them all together. Again, remember, if you do need to edit the color or the exposure, you will need to do that now. So it's important, honestly, to probably put all of them on the timeline, all the videos on the timeline, so you can kind of see how close they are and which ones really probably need a lot of adjustment. So again, I'm going to go ahead and press play. There's me making sure everybody's rolling, rolling, rolling. I need you to hand clap. So we're going to mute this one right here. There's him being silly, clapping multiple times. And he clapped. So again, I'm going to zoom in and make sure that's the proper waveform. I can go ahead and move it back a little bit with the playhead, or you can use the arrow keys, and that will jump forward one frame at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and put it right here, and we'll try the marker right here. And then I'm going to mute this track, unmute this track. We're going to zoom out, and since we have snapping on, we can go ahead and select all our clips and try to line them up right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select all our clips, then I'm going to zoom back in, and I'm going to click, hold, and drag them until they match up, again because I have snapping on. And then we're going to try to see if we have... Looks so good so far.
My name is Justin Oliver, and I'm your entertainment for tonight. I'm so happy to be here.
If you can't tell to see if it's synced and you're not sure, to me it looks synced, but I can always zoom in. So I can pull this down by moving your arrow to right here where you see then a double-sided arrow, and you can pull down to make the video bigger, and then you can actually hit play.
So happy that you guys are out here. Let's get this show on the road!
Looks good to me, but let's move down to timeline and see. Yep, synced perfectly. You can tell I've been doing this for a while. Because back when I was in college, they did not have the auto sync abilities. It was just this. So since I know I no longer need the audio from here, I'm going to go down here and check and make sure I have... It looks so good so far, and let's check the last clip.
About alcohol, we give out all kinds of stuff. So go follow me right now. Thank you.
So you can see that is good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete this audio right here because I no longer need it. So I don't have to keep that track muted. If I wanted to, I could move this up to audio 1, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to move down to the end with the down arrow key to move to the end of the clip. Hit the O, so I only will export this clip, and I'm going to export it. I will warn you, the first clip I did from Cam 2 took over 2 hours to export. You want to make sure your computer doesn't fall asleep and make sure that your external hard drive doesn't come unplugged. So this does definitely take a long time. This is not something you can wait to the last minute to do. So I'm going to go ahead and save, and then I'm going to go ahead and export it so you do have this clip. However, again, if you wanted to edit individual colors, you would have issues where you would have to then cut it up with the razor blade and try to match it, or just do what I did. So hopefully this does help you when it comes to editing and save time. So again, I know this is camera 1, card 1. I do want H.264, the Vimeo 1080p preset. P, remember, stands for progressive. It means that you can put it on the internet. We can double check these settings here. Then I'm going to go ahead and click here. And you can see here I already knew what I wanted to call it. So since I know that's what my naming profile is, I can go ahead and click on it and then just change it from Cam 2 to card 1, or excuse me, Cam 2 to Cam 1, Cam 1, card 1, set 1. Then I'm going to go to my Cam 1. Then I'm going to go to card 1. And I do not have an exports folder. So I want to go back and just double check and see how I had that for Cam 2. Again, I like to keep things organized, and you need to as well. So it looks like I had something called exported raw Cam 2 card 1. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to say new folder, exported raw Cam 1 card 1. So I know this is the exported files, and I'm going to create that. Now I'm going to save that. Again, you have to keep everything organized. The more you do when it comes to multicam edits, the more you do when it comes to doing short films or feature films or longer works, you definitely need to stay organized. It will make your life easier. So then I'm going to go ahead and hit export, and it's going to go ahead and export. Right now it says it's only going to be 14 minutes, but you can see the time is definitely jumping. Whereas the last one I did, it told me it was going to be an hour and 30. It ended up going up to 2 hours. So you definitely need to plan a lot of time to be around the computer when you're doing this, and then you're going to have to edit the individual songs together because that's what he wants it. The intro of who he is, what song it is, and then edit together the song. You can see it's already jumped up to 48 minutes, and I guarantee it'll continue to jump.